Alright, welcome back guys. In this video we are going to learn how to remove unwanted elements from a photograph. So let's get started. Alright, so here open inside Photoshop, you can see I have these documents which I prepared in advance for this lecture, and the first one we will be working on is this one on the screen. So there are many tools in Photoshop that can actually help you to remove unwanted objects from an image, but as far as this video goes, we are going to focus mostly on one tool. To the left here on the toolbar we can find the healing tools. Here you can see we have the spot healing brush tool and the healing brush tool itself. Let us choose the first option, and once that tool is selected, we have some settings on the options bar. First, we can make sure that our brush size is okay and make sure we set the hardness to 100%. Then the blending mode here is set to normal, and under the type we have these options. As far as this image is concerned, the content aware option here is the preferred choice, because once the portion will be removed, Photoshop will now use artificial intelligence to calculate the pixels that have been removed and replace them with neighboring pixels. Also, you need to make sure that with the spot healing brush tool active, if you are making any adjustments, they should be on a new layer, okay? For example, on the layers panel you can see that we have just this background, and with the spot healing brush tool selected, if I were to increase the size of my brush and carefully paint on this section like so, you will see that that particular portion has been removed, okay? But the downside to this is that this is a destructive way of working, which means you cannot go back and do further adjustments to this particular image. So I'm going to revert all the changes I've done by going to File and then choosing Revert, or you can hit that command F12. Now what we need to do is to create a new layer. So we go here on the layers panel and click the plus icon to add a new layer above the background image. Now with the new layer selected, we have to go to the options bar and make sure sample all layers is checked. After doing that, I will have to rename this layer to healing. Then on my photograph, because I have sample all layers checked, any modification that is done on this image will not only consider the current layer, but it will look at every other layer in the image. In this case, we have just this background layer, so it is going to calculate what is on this background as well. So with all that said, I am going to click somewhere around here to paint over this image carefully like so, and it's done. It is gone, guys. The good thing about creating a new layer is that we can see the before and after by clicking on this icon. You can see this is the portion that has been removed. With the healing layer still selected, I can paint on these sections just like so to get rid of them. That's magical. I can now come over here and paint just like so. Alright, so as you can see guys, with just a few clicks, we are able to clear the portions of the image we don't actually want. This is very practical, okay? And we do so non-destructively. We can always go to this new layer and enable or disable to see the changes. So the key takeaway in this particular portion of the video is for you to know that as far as the spot healing brush tool is concerned, there are few settings on the options bar here which are very helpful. The one you will use most of the time should be the content aware. And then if you have a new layer like I did here, your best match will be to check the sample all layers, as Photoshop is going to calculate the pixels on all the layers in the image. So I will now switch to the second image, and if I zoom into the image, you can see that it is really blurry. So what I will do will be to add a lot of pixels in this image so I will be able to work with. To do that, I will go to image and choose the image size command. I will take down the resolution from 72 to 300, and by doing so we increase the size of the image from 15 megabyte to 274 megabytes. That's decent, and I'm going to say okay. Now what I'm going to do is to create a new layer And then with the new layer selected, I will go to the options bar and make sure that sample all layers is checked. My intention is to get rid of this lady right here, okay? And also remove the dark spots on this particular photograph. So what I would do will be to increase the size of my brush and then carefully paint on the lady like so. And just like that, she's gone. Before we actually bring back this line, let us first of all remove these imperfections. So I'll reduce the size of my brush and paint over these black spots just like so. Notice that while working with the spot healing brush, you can always hold the spacebar to pan around. Alright, now Photoshop did a great job of removing the lady, but it also ended up removing the line. Okay, you can clearly see. So what we are going to do will be to try to bring back this line. So what I would do will be to select the second tool this time, which is the healing brush tool itself. And if we go to the options bar, we can see the source is set to sampled, and we are currently set to current layer. So what I'm going to do will be to click and choose all layers, okay, so that Photoshop will look at every other image in this particular document and pick some details from there. So I will increase the size of my brush, and the way this tool works is by you first sampling the portion of the image you want to replicate. So how do you sample a portion of an image? You hold down the Alt key or the Option key if you are using the Mac. Once I hold the Alt key, I will be able to target this particular portion of the image. So I will click on that particular line to make it a target. Now as I move, you will be able to see that the line shows up where I'm going to click next. So I'll come somewhere around here and just click. Alright, again I'll come here and click, give a click right there. You can see we carefully brought that line back. And the good thing about this is that we work non-destructively. We can always go to the layers panel and choose to hide or show the original image. So here's the original version and here is the retouch version, guys. Very cool and practical. Okay. Alright, now we have the next image open up on the screen. Now if we look on this new image, you can see that we still have our healing brush tool selected. So I'll go to the toolbar and switch to the spot healing brush tool. Now with the spot healing brush tool, we have all the settings already set, okay? And here on the layers panel, I've also created a new retouch layer. Now my main objective here is to get rid of these power lines, especially these tiny power lines, and allow just these ones that connect to this portion of the electric pole. So I will start by zooming to this portion of the image and making sure that my retouch layer is selected and sample all layer is checked. I'll just click somewhere around here once, and then I'll hold down Shift and click somewhere around here. By holding Shift, you click here and click. Photoshop is going to draw a selection in a horizontal manner. Again, I'll click right here, hold down the Shift key and come right about this portion and then just click. It is gone. Now you can clearly see we have some imperfections right here, so I'm going to zoom in closer and then just carefully paint on those sections like so. Alright, that line is gone. The next line we should remove will be these lines right down here. Alright guys, so after a few modifications, this is the final version of the image. So on the layers panel, I can click on this eye icon to show the before and after. So here's the before of the image, and here's the after version of that same image with all these power lines gone. So that does it for this video guys. If you got value out of it, please kindly support the channel by subscribing. It means a lot to me. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.